Grand Prix at the Meadowlands. Mario Andretti returns to the Meadowlands to defend his championship of last year and continue his pursuit of his second national driving championship. But the thorn in his side here is the man that has challenged him this entire season, the new kid on the block, Danny Sullivan. Sullivan has been a powerful force in IndyCar racing with his new ride for the Penske racing team. The battle between the two started at Long Beach, California. There, it was Mario Andretti coming home the winner. But at the Indianapolis 500, Andretti was outdriven by Danny Sullivan, and Sullivan was the winner. So today, at the Meadowlands, it's Andretti and Sullivan and 26 other fine racing drivers to accept the challenge.
This is NBC's Sports World, and today it's brought to you by...
Great performance. Now the decision, do they nullify that performance, rebuild the #1 car, and then go out there and try to re-qualify? Well, that's exactly what they did. With just 3 minutes to go in the final qualifying session, Roger Penske made the decision, let's go with the #1 car. Danny Sullivan out there in just 3 laps, put that car on the front row. A great performance by the Penske team and Danny Sullivan. Now let's move down the pits to Gary Gerald, and he's in the Mario Andretti pit.
Well, Bruce, there hasn't been that kind of drama here with Mario Andretti this weekend. It's been a picture-perfect weekend. He's been consistently fast. He has a new course record. He's on the pole. He's the defending champion, defending national champion. He's won 3 of 4 already this year. Mario Andretti, however, will be the very first man to tell you that the credit is not his. It belongs to the people in this pit area. Daryl Soppy right here, the crew chief, Tony Cicali, Carl Haas, Paul Newman. They put together a team that has compiled an amazing record of success. And we're going to be watching that team in action very closely this afternoon as Mario tries to make it 2 in a row at the Meadowlands. Let's check the rest of the starting grid as we go back to Paul Page.
Here's the lineup for the U.S. Grand Prix at the Meadowlands. 28 Indy cars ready to go. The front row on the inside. Once again, the defending champion is Mario Andretti. Mario blistered the pace here with a new track record in qualifications. Outside, the man with a challenge, Danny Sullivan. 3 wins in kart, looking for another.
And on the inside of the second row, we have Jeff Brabham. Jeff has 3 second-place finishes, but still never won a race. He's the son of the former world champion, Jack Brabham. And on the outside of the second row, a very fast man, Bobby Rahal. 5 wins in kart, having a terrible season so far.
The third row on the inside, the 40 car of Emerson Fittipaldi, the 2-time world driving champion. His best finish in kart is 2nd place. Alongside Emo, Al Unser Jr. He has 1 win. That on the road course at Portland. He's looking for another.
And on the inside of the 4th row, we have Roberto Moreno. He's from Italy. He's replacing Pancho Carter. He's from Formula 2 and a very quick road race driver. On the outside, we have Bruno Giacomelli, also from Italy, and he comes from Formula 1, replacing the retired Gordon Johncock.
The 5th row on the inside in the number 18 car is Kevin Cogan, back from his injuries at Pocono last year. 2 2nd-place finishes. He has never won. Alongside, from Scotland, Jim Crawford, an excellent road racing driver, comes from Formula 1 and Formula 2. The field rolling on the pace lap now as we're set to go and look at the rest of this qualifying field. 12 of these 28 drivers are foreign-born. Mario Andretti, of course, the defending champion. All of the qualified cars are in brand new 1985 machines. Bobby Unser, the question last year before the rain, and it rained through most of the race, was could you pass on this circuit? Now we really have to answer that question.
Well, it's a tough place to pass on because it's a very tight racetrack, Paul, but I think you find most of the passing today is going to be going into number 2 turn. Number 2 and 3 are right together, and it's kind of a big hairpin turn, and going into number 4 turn. That's where most of the passing, I think, is going to happen.
One interesting fact you noted earlier, the last row, A.J. Foyt and Dick Simon. A.J. Foyt is 50 years old. Dick Simon is 51.
That totals 101 years of racing in the last row. Can you believe that?
The oldest row ever to start in an IndyCar race. Now you and I are both in trouble with A.J. Foyt. We're looking at the front row now. There is Mario Andretti, car number 1, the Beatrice Lola. Alongside is Danny Sullivan, that car number 4. They have battled throughout the season. We have a distinct difference in styles here as they come through what is the final bend. Nick Fenorel starter has the green flag. He looks up toward that starting field. Look at the crowd as they cheer as this field now moves up, closes up very quickly. Nice formation. They're ready to start. The starter continuing to watch the pace car off. No start. The yellow flag comes out. We have no start here at the Meadowlands.
The cars were just strung out too far, Paul, and some of that's because they come off of that far turn up there. The guys in the front just accelerated a little bit too soon.
Andretti did move out very quickly. Perhaps now he's telegraphed his move to the rest of the field. The front rows looked like they were in pretty good shape, but the back end was bad.
Well, they did, and he's teaching Danny Sullivan how to start races. After all, you got to remember that Mario started in the sprint car circus where you really learn how to start races.
You don't keep a good eye on that flag there on the short dirt tracks and the sprint ovals, then you're in big trouble.
You realize he started many, probably hundreds of races with Nick Ferrolo, the starter, in sprint car, midget, and Indy car races.
All right, let's take a look at this. This is from the second row. Jeff Brabham, you're looking over his shoulder. In front of him is Bobby Rahal, and then he'll slide up right into that slot to the right of Rahal. That's Sullivan on the left, and there is Mario Andretti down on the right. Now, Jeff is weaving back and forth just a little bit as we come through this course. He's trying to bring his tires up to temperature now. Now we're looking at one of the sweepers. This is that long, what we call the backstretch section, and they'll bear back over to the right here. It's pretty quick through here, Bobby.
Well, it is, and really what they're trying right now, Paul, the track is plenty hot. What they're really trying to do right now is to keep the tires clean so they don't pick up the rubber from the Super V's, because the rubber from the Super V tires has a tendency to stick to these tires, so they got to kind of scrub them to keep them clean so they don't go in the first turn and slide all over.
Super V's, of course, raced here earlier in the afternoon. Again, we are live. You're looking over Jeff Brabham's right-hand shoulder. I'm sure that his father, multiple-time world driving champion, Sir Jack Brabham, is proud that he can now actually ride with his son in a race car. And I should point out that that first lap will count in the race under the yellow as they begin to align again. We are counting lap number 1. We're actually working that first lap.
They have to do that, Paul, because of the amount of fuel that they allow. They only allow the fuel for the amount of laps of the race.
They put an extra lap in, then somebody could be out in fuel. Could definitely be a factor here today. It is a concern of many of the teams. As we watch again now, they approach the line. Let's see if Sullivan learned. We are green, and Sullivan still drops in behind Mario Andretti. It's Sullivan in second place. Behind him is Jeff Brabham, and Bobby Rahal moves up to challenge on the long side as he really cracks his brakes trying to get around Jeff Brabham. Little Al is in third. Emerson Fittipaldi sits right behind Little Al. The field comes through. Clean start. No contact.
Well, that was really good. I was surprised that Sullivan didn't take a lesson from Mario in that first false start.
Mario Andretti accelerates now, coming up over a bridge over a local highway here, down to the bottom of the bridge now. A turn back to the left. Sullivan follows. Brabham third. Rahal, then Al Unser, then Emerson Fittipaldi and Bruno Giacomelli.
One of the big factors today, Paul, I might as well tell the people to start with, is going to be fuel. Most of the cars, I believe, are going to try to make this race a one fuel stop. Now, everybody will be watching Mario Andretti to see what their decisions are, and you can a little bit tell about what they're going to be by how fast he runs, how hard he runs.
Mario Andretti has been the one that has been capable of going the furthest on a tank of fuel, and certainly the man to key off of. I'll be real surprised, Bobby Unser, if indeed they try and go without 2 stops. Here comes Danny Sullivan trying to challenge Andretti. First starts to the inside on the main stretch, now passing through the first turn as a challenge set up. This aggressive style of Danny Sullivan challenging our leader Mario Andretti.
Well, I love it. I love that style of driving. I wish they had a little bit more fuel so they could go at it like this all day long.
Puts us in mind of a younger Bobby Unser in his day, the man who, by the way, has the most wins in IndyCar in the New Jersey area back in your days of racing at Trenton Speedway. All right, it is Mario Andretti. Danny Sullivan's having a problem with his left front wing. Look, he's actually been up close enough to get it bent.
He probably did that touching Mario's tire. It's a little hard for us to tell right now, but he's running awfully close for a while.
All right, a road circuit, a bent wing. What could it mean?
Very bad push, and especially through the S's where they are right now. It means that you just don't get the downforce on the front that you need.
So the left front wing on Danny Sullivan's car, an item to watch already here in the early going. 2 laps complete at the Meadowlands. The first one run under the yellow. Mario Andretti is still our leader. Second place is Danny Sullivan, and he continues to challenge. We'll stay with his fight for the lead.
Well, the wing's been a little bit harder than I thought it was. It's probably rubbing the ground about halfway around the track. So what he'll do is wear the bottom plate off. But it doesn't look like it's really hurt the handling of the car too much.
All right, something like that, Bobby. It's sitting down, caught just a bit. When a car comes toward the cameras, we can see it. Will it affect the handling drastically? Could it be pulling the car one way or another?
Well, it could be, but you see, it's his left front wing, and most most of the turns to the left, so that means the wing is on the inside of the racetrack. The important wing right now is the right front. If he'd have bent that one, he would have probably been hurting a little bit worse.
There you get a wonderful view of the nature of this circuit that is part parking lot, part streets, as they come over a bridge over the highway, now coming into the